So, ladies and gentlemen, is it fear or is it a lack of interest? These are the questions that people should be asking when it comes to Cardi B not dropping a follow-up album after almost a decade. Before we go any further, make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button. My name is Mfasis. I am a rapper and music producer, and I do podcast episodes like the one you're watching right now. So, Cardi B, everybody knows who she is. She blew up in the mid to late 2010s. She had the infamous album Invasion of Privacy, which was a solid album. You know, like, quick disclaimer, I'm not the biggest Cardi B fan, mainly because I do not like the fact that after she went on and on talking about how she used to drug men and then rob them, everybody online, all these social justice warriors tried to act like that wasn't a big deal and tried to act like it was the guy's fault that she was out here on some Bill Cosby predator shit. But that, putting that to the side, Invasion of Privacy was a very solid album. Now, many people, because of that one album, have put her into the conversation of one of the greatest female rappers ever and one of the greatest of the past generation, which to me is utterly ridiculous. She, again, she doesn't even write her raps, guys. She's not writing, she's not producing, she can't sing, and you guys want to put her into that tier of one of the greatest of her generation, which is ridiculous. She's one of the most popular, but to say greatest, that's utterly ridiculous. Now, to me, I think it's a shame because a lot of people feel some type of way about Nicki Minaj, but regardless of how you feel about Nicki Minaj, I don't think people could ever question Nicki Minaj's work ethic as well as her actual talent, because she actually has talent, and also her passion for making music. Because Nicki Minaj has stayed fairly consistent throughout her career, dropping multiple albums back to back to back, over the past decade. She's put out material. Whereas Cardi B put out Invasion of Privacy, and she's been ghost ever since from the music standpoint. It's strictly been a conversation about her getting into the type of typical relationship drama that a lot of females from Washington Heights and the Bronx get into. I hate to say it as somebody that grew up in New York, but it is what it is. You're seeing a lot of things that have nothing to do with music over the past couple of years, and I've seen some people say, "Oh, this is a blessing in disguise because she's gonna use this, and she's gonna be able to use this as marketing material to really get her back out there." And when people make these arguments, I say, "Listen, guys, she doesn't care about music." I know y'all don't want to believe me. I have nothing against her personally because I've never met her. I do have a problem with, again, her bragging about drugging and robbing men and everybody on the internet acting like that's not a big deal. But nonetheless, I can look at something from a very objective standpoint. Like I said, Invasion of Privacy, solid album. The mixtapes that she put out a few years prior to that also had some really solid material, regardless of who wrote it. But to put her in the category of one of the best female rappers ever based off of such a small sample size, it doesn't make sense unless the album was literally iconic. See, regardless of the critiques about Lauryn Hill and her always showing up late to everything, and her just vanishing from music for the past however many decades, at the very least she could hold her hat on an iconic album in the miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Whereas Cardi B, in my opinion, is coming from a place where she should have kept her foot on the her foot on the gas. She should have kept the pedal to the metal and she should have dropped another project by like 2020. And here we are in 2025 and there's still no follow-up. And all we've seen her do really is follow Stephon Diggs around everywhere, the NFL player. I don't know what Cardi B stands are going through when it comes to their anticipation. I wish them the best. However, to me, when it comes to this whole, oh my gosh, Cardi still hasn't dropped, I think this is more a matter of somebody who just simply has a lack of interest. Because Cardi B has made statements before that made it clear that to her, she views music and this whole thing that she's in as more so just a lick. You know, just something that she could jump into in and out of to get some fame and clout and money. And in my opinion, as someone who's passionate about hip hop, that's of course very disappointing, because when you have artists like that, they're them and their mentality, naturally devalue music, especially hip hop, because when you have people that clearly don't care about hip hop like that, they don't care about making music like that, despite being handed a golden opportunity to just make music, but you're kind of looking at it like it's just a quick lick, and you're saying that it's just a quick lick, it's the thing that you did to get put on. It makes normies that don't make music, it makes them appreciate it less, because in their mind, they think that music is just so easy, anybody could do it, and they're looking at you as an example, because they saying, well, she doesn't write or produce or sing, she just gets on some of these songs and does what she does, and she's a superstar, right? Now, again, if Cardi does finally drop and it's a dope album, I would have no problem coming back here and saying, you know what? Despite the big gap in time, she came back and dropped something dope. But in my opinion, what I think is going on, besides the fact that she doesn't actually care about music and she's not actually passionate about music, so she's just kind of, so about it. She's too busy following her husband around and complaining about him cheating, and then moving on from him to an NFL player and then following him around. She's too worried about all of this unnecessary stuff and not focused enough on the music. And because of that, and on top of that, I also think it's a conversation about her simply not having any hit songs ready to go. And a hit song, I mean, you know, that's a tricky conversation, because you can make good music and it not be a hit at all. Like it's, but I think on top of not having a quote unquote hit song ready to release, I think also she and her team, the writers and producers, they also don't, for whatever reason, they don't have any good songs ready to go. And she's nervous. Again, you could see throughout her actions over the years, she does have a serious insecurity problem, which is not the end of the world. People are human. Humans have insecurity problems. That's fine. But me personally, I've never been the type of artist who was afraid to drop something. Like, I do have tendencies of being a perfectionist sometimes, but I also am willing to just throw stuff out there and say, you know what, I gotta figure it out as I go. Let me just put something out and go. Unfortunately, in the case of Cardi, I don't think her delay is due to her being a perfectionist. I just think she, one, doesn't really care about music like that, and two, she and or her label know that she doesn't have any like good material stash right now, and so they're very scared to put it out and for it to not do well. And again, this goes back to what I said a few videos ago about fans, hip hop fans. Many hip hop fans obsess over first week numbers to the point where you make artists insecure about putting albums out, because they know if the numbers don't come back looking a certain way. Like, here's the thing: if Cardi B does less than like 150,000, a lot of y'all, or better yet, I'll be more generous. If Cardi B does less than 100,000, a lot of y'all, instead of focusing strictly on if the music is good or not, a lot of y'all are just gonna clown her and say she fell off. And clearly, she is frightened by that, like many artists. But I think it's a shame, because you have a lot of talented artists out there, both male and females, who are trying to follow their dreams, making music full time, making content full time, but they're so heavily distracted with having to work regular jobs and do all of that stuff. And then meanwhile, you have people like this who they were gifted an opportunity to just make music full time, and they squander that opportunity because they want to be more focused on Hollywood relationships, and a Hollywood lifestyle. That's just my opinion. Let me know. Do you think Cardi B is actually scared, or do you think that Cardi B is gonna drop this summer and she's gonna set